Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Lacey and this is my art channel. Today I'm going to be showing you my October bullet journal spread. At first I wasn't sure if I was going to be doing an autumnal spread or if I would lean more into Halloween like I've done in past years, but then I remembered that this year for my Halloween party I plan on doing a Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead theme, and so I decided to do that theme in my bullet journal as well. It's definitely a theme I haven't seen anyone else do in their bullet journal, though I'm sure it exists somewhere, but I was happy about it because I wouldn't be influenced to just do the same thing that somebody else had already did and also do the same thing that I've done in the past years. I did look at Dia de los Muertos art, but like I said, I didn't really look up any bullet journals and I didn't see any that were similar. So starting off, I did the October down the side of the page. I've been doing that for every spread in this bullet journal just so I can have something that's cohesive throughout the months. If you're interested in seeing some of my past bullet journal spreads, I'll put it in the iCards above. Next, I sketched a skeleton. I saw a lot of skeletons that looked like they were in mariachi bands with sombreros and guitars, and then I also saw a lot of skeletons that were dressed formally, the men in tuxedos or hat and bows like the one I did, and the women in wedding gowns with veils. Of course, I also decided to do somewhat of an altar at the bottom with candles and marigolds, and I added pumpkins for like the autumnal vibes, and I thought the colors really complemented the illustration. On the other side, I chose this quote because I felt it was fitting for our theme. Our dead are never dead to us until we have forgotten them. George Eliot. I think that in a way it sort of encompasses what Dia de los Muertos is about, remembering our loved ones who have left us. Now, I personally love other languages and cultures, and for those of you who don't know, I'm from the US, but I live in Quebec, Canada with my husband who is Quebecois. I have been learning French for about 12 years off and on. I don't claim to be perfect at it. It's still a work in progress, but it's something that means a lot to me. And before I learned French, I actually took several Spanish classes. I also love their language and their culture, as well as many others. I just love learning about other people and their ways of life. I don't remember that much about Spanish and the different Hispanic cultures, but I do remember that in Spanish class we did do a whole lesson on Dia de los Muertos. Like I said, it's been a really long time, so I decided to read up a bit on the topic and I wanted to share it with all of you. I did get a lot of this information from Wikipedia, which I know isn't always the most reliable resource, but I did check the information with some other sources as well, so I think the information is correct to the best of my knowledge. I will link the Wikipedia page down below and another page that I really like. If you are from a heritage that celebrates Dia de los Muertos, you could tell me in the comments below if the information is correct, and I also would love to hear about your experience with Dia de los Muertos. So this is what I've learned. Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, is celebrated on November 1st and November 2nd, but also sometimes celebrated on October 31st or November 6th, depending on location. It originated in Mexico, though it's celebrated in a lot of different countries now. It is seen as a joyous holiday rather than a day of mourning. It is celebrated over multiple days and involves family and friends gathering to pay respect, and it's a day to remember family and friends who have died. Families often make altars in their home called ofrendas, from the word offerings. They use pictures and memorabilia of the deceased for the altar, and they often use skulls or calaveras and Aztec marigolds or cempasúchil as decoration. They make skull decorations and they also make sugar skulls. When I was in Spanish class, we actually made these, and my friend reminded me that we also made altars, though it's really hard for me to remember since it's been a long time. For Dia de los Muertos, they often make the deceased favorite meals, and they may also bring gifts to the graves of their loved ones. The offerings are believed to encourage visits from the land of the dead, as the departed souls hear their prayers, smell their foods, and join in the celebrations. Also, if you watched the Disney show Coco, I think it's somewhat similar, showing some of their culture, though I don't know exactly how accurate it is. They also use the holiday as an opportunity to celebrate their friends and families by giving them sugar skulls and pan de muerto. Pan de muerto is a bread. I'll just show a picture of it here. And there's so much more information about this holiday and their culture. Unfortunately, I can't fit everything into this video, but I do encourage you all to read about it if you're interested. And one of the links that I linked below, it's a website that just talks about Dia de los Muertos, and it's very beautiful. It looks like they put some like art on there, and it has a lot of information, so I'm just gonna put it down below as well. Now, in my bullet journal, I wanted to color the pages with colored pencil because I wanted to achieve bright, vibrant colors like you see in Dia de los Muertos. This was actually really difficult for me as I have bad wrist and they really ached during this process. I did love how the cover page came out and also the quote page. I wanted to do the background of the quote page in purple, but I couldn't. My wrist just would not let me. And also when I did the black, I kind of got the black everywhere. Unfortunately, kind of kept smearing it even after I had sealed it with some sparkle Mod Podge. I don't know. I kept finding that black everywhere every time I put my hands down, even after washing them. But I did use the Mod Podge to seal it. I thought it looked great. And I did my best to just not get colored pencil everywhere. It was definitely a hard task. You could see now that I'm working on a month at a glance. I also did something here that I really regretted, and that was using these inking pens that were from like the first Scholar Box video that I did. I feel like I've talked about these pens so much, but they're good for dry mediums, bad for wet ones. I kind of forgot and I tried to put Mod Podge on it and it just smeared so bad everywhere. I was very sad. I could have just left it out of the video, but I decided to leave it so I could show all of you how I fix mistakes if they're really bad. So 3 ways that I fix mistakes. If it's a very, very small mistake, I just use a little white gel pen to cover it. Sometimes a little white out if I have to. Second is how I'm covering it up here. I'm using a small piece of paper to cover the mistake. And then I'm just drawing what I need to fix on top of it. And then if it's a big mistake that needs a whole page cover up, then I'll just cut out another piece of paper, glue it to that page to fix it. Some people just glue 2 pages together. That can work too, but if you like the page that's like adjacent to it and you don't want to glue the pages together, you could just put another piece of paper on top whichever you prefer. Afterward, I did my weekly layout. I decided to do 6 across. I decided to just let 2 dates share the last box. I know a lot of people do this with the weekend, like put the whole weekend together, but because I'm not going to be using this bullet journal right now, I'm going to use it in the future. I decided to just let whichever 2 days that landed there share the box. I feel like it wasn't any different than just letting the weekend share the box. So I could have just made a couple of extra pages so that way every day would have its own box. And if you're recreating this, you're definitely welcome to do that or split one box into 2 boxes, but it really didn't bother me to just let the 2 days share. So it's really personal preference, up to you. I am only going to show one of the weekly layouts just because I made every week the same, so it wasn't much to show. Also, I decided to ditch the Mod Podge and just add tape to like one side so that way the colors wouldn't rub together. And I figure since it's glossy, if it did go onto the other side, I could kind of just wipe it off so it doesn't smear. I know I could have used like some kind of sealant, but unfortunately my sealant smells very badly and very strongly, and I really just didn't want to have to deal with that. If you have sealant suggestions, you should let me know in the comments because I live in Canada and it was very hard for me to find one. I went to Michael's but I couldn't find it, and then I ended up getting one online, but like I said, it smells so strongly it gives me a headache every time. If you've made it this far, first of all, thank you. Second, put a Halloween or autumn emoji in the comments below so I know you made it. I appreciate all of your love and support. It means so much to me, and if you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing as this directly helps me and my channel. If you want to recreate this spread, I would love to see it. I have a link in the description below called a link tree. If you click it, you'll see all of my social media links. I do think I'm going to end my dialogue here. Let me know if you like this spread in the comments below and what spreads you would like to see in the future. Also, what other videos you would like to see. I've kind of been on a schedule where I've been doing create this book 1 week, scrawler box the 2nd week, bullet journal the 3rd week, and then something of my choosing for the 4th week. But I would definitely love to hear your suggestions and I'll consider them for that 4th week. So you guys should let me know. I'd love to chat with you in the comments. I do look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. So until next time, bye.